Okay, hello boys, girls, and squirrels. I am going to tattoo myself today. I'm leaving my house right now. I'm kind of nervous about this one, but I'll keep you guys updated. Hello, I am going to tattoo myself today. I just printed out the design, finalized it. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and then last night while I was sleeping, I had kind of a better idea. So this is what I'm thinking. Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein's creature, Adam. Put it on my calf. And I am tattooing myself today, mostly because I want practice, and it's been a long time since I've gotten a tattoo. Last night was New Year's Eve, so today is the first of the year. I got home around like 3 a.m. I didn't drink. I had some breakfast. I have some Gatorade here if I need to. I'm not going to be using numbing cream. Previously, I had been using numbing cream to tattoo myself, but I had a really bad reaction during the healing process the last time. So I'm going to see how far I can get just raw dogging it, and I don't know. We'll see. I hope I finish it today. I hope so. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna try to place the stencil now, and since it's just me here by myself, I'm gonna hope that I get it straight. We'll see. Actually, I think I'll put you up here for now, and then I'll show you when I'm done. The shoes that I wore today are like 3 inches higher than my regular height, so that's why I have a little bit of a limp. This is what it looks like. Yeah, I think that'll work. Nice. Okay, hell yeah. So now I'm gonna pour out my ink, grab some needles, let this dry, and then we'll finally get started. I guess I'm a little concerned on how I'm gonna do this, because usually when I do tattoos I start from what's closest to me and work my way farther away so I don't mess up the stencil. but the majority of the concentrated black is at the bottom, and that's also going to be the easiest. So I was thinking maybe I'll do the highest concentration black area first, work my way up, and then if it gets too painful and I need to tap out, I can just stop and not do this top leaf. I don't know. I think that's how I'm gonna do it because I feel like I'm gonna get the worst out of the way first that way, especially since it's close to the ankle. Well, hello and welcome to the voiceover section of the video. In this part, I'm going to talk about whatever I want, whatever I feel like. I really resonated with this movie. I was not expecting to. I have been a fan of Guillermo del Toro's work before. I really liked Pan's Labyrinth. I liked the cinematography and the world building of The Shape of Water. I thought that was really cool. I liked Hellboy. I liked Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, better. But I recently watched Crimson Peak earlier last year, maybe sometime in the summer. I watched Crimson Peak for the first time. I had heard a lot of really good things about it, and I really love Mia Wasikowska. I don't know if that's how you say her name or not, but she was the girl that played Alice in Alice in Wonderland. I think she's amazing. I loved her in Stoker. That's a great thriller if you're into that sort of thing. Stoker, with Mia Wasikowska and Matthew Good, and there's another well-known actress in there as well. I can't remember her name, but she plays the mother of Mia, and it's this really, really cool, like psychological thriller sort of thing. It's hard to explain. Just watch it if you like. If you liked Hereditary and don't like as much violence, maybe watch Stoker. But anyway, so I watched Crimson Peak earlier this year because of Mia Wasikowska, and I was recently like on a vampire kick. That felt very gothic-y. That felt very similar. She was also in No Lovers Left Alive with Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton. Fantastic modern gothic thriller about vampires. I really, really enjoyed that one too. So I gave Crimson Peak a chance, but I just couldn't. Something about it was just a little at the end. If you watched it, you know what I mean. I just couldn't get past it. I love the visuals of the film, but the actual plot and the twist at the end were very off-putting to me. I just couldn't reconcile the way that it ended. But it's a very beautiful movie. I really enjoyed watching it. I didn't enjoy understanding it. So with all that, I was very excited for Frankenstein. I've done a lot of Frankenstein tattoos on some of my clients. I have done like a Frankenstein pinup, like a male pinup Frankenstein, and I've done like Frankenstein's bride as a pinup. I've done like them in an embrace. I've done them looking at each other. I've done them in frames. All of like the classic. Think of green. Think of bolts in the neck. Think of big, heavy eyebrow. I've done a lot of those Frankenstein tattoos in my very short tattoo career. So after seeing this movie, I really, really wanted to do a newer iteration of that Frankenstein, and I just resonated with the creature so much. I really needed a creature tattoo on my own body. um, I had read Frankenstein when I was a kid, or I thought that I had read Frankenstein when I was a kid. I now realize after reading Frankenstein again as an adult that the Frankenstein version that I read when I was a kid was not actually Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It was one of those film adaptations turned into the book, like they like bookified the movie, if that makes any sense. Because I remember the book that I was reading in it, I remember he drowned a little girl in a well, and there was like pitchforks and and they were coming after him with torches and stuff, but there was no mention of like a ship or letters or anything like that in the one that I read when I was like 11 years old. When I did read that one, I was terrified. I was so scared. For some reason, I don't know why my little child brain made this sort of illogical representation, but I really thought that not only was Frankenstein's monster underneath my bed, like if I looked underneath my bed and I didn't see anything, it's because he was actually inside of my mattress. And that inside of my mattress there's like full a full town, and like as he like it's a miniature town, it's a really tiny town that like exists on the bottom part of the mattress, and then if he were to like jump up and ascend into the sky, he would grow bigger and bigger and bigger until he would be life size and grab me through the mattress and pull me down into this miniature world where he would kill me. But now, saying that out loud as an adult, that makes no sense at all. But I was trying to justify how scared I was of this book, and I was trying to make the fear make sense. So I had to justify a way for him to be able to get to me somehow. I don't know. It was really scary. I didn't attempt to pick it up again until I saw this movie. And now that I'm reading it, I realize there's a lot of differences in the movie to the book, but not nearly as many differences as previous movies to the book. Even with all of those differences to the book, it still doesn't matter. I still really enjoyed the movie quite a bit. I really loved the tactile feel of it, how you could tell that everything was in real life. It was all fabricated. The ship, the costumes, the prosthetics, everything just felt so physical, and every little thing had so much attention to detail. And I've watched this movie so many times, I feel like I've like picked up on a couple things, like frames where things might have been missed. Like, for example, the scene where Elizabeth goes to Victor while William is watching over the construction of the tower. She goes to Victor with the butterfly that they had caught together. She's like, she missed you. During that scene, when she rejects Victor and gives him the butterfly and flees, you see her grab her hat from the table and run away. And then the next frame, you see him grab her umbrella from the table and run after her. But when he grabs the umbrella from the table, the hat is still on the table. So she leaves both of those items, and she also takes one of those items, and he takes one of those items. So that was just a little mess up. And then there's two other parts in this movie that I cannot find an explanation. At first, I was trying to find an explanation for just one scene, one frame, the final frame, the most important scene in my opinion, where he is staring off into the sunrise and tears are falling from his eyes. You see the creature's image is flipped. The scar goes in a different direction. His shock of hair is on the opposite side as it is to other parts in the movie. And I'm so curious. I haven't heard anything from Guillermo's mouth himself on why they chose to do that. I'm not sure if that was some sort of editing mistake or anything like that, but I don't believe it would be a mistake, because he did say in previous interviews that a lot of times when Victor and the creature are talking to each other, there's some sort of mirror involved, because the Victor sees the creature as an extension of himself. He doesn't see him as his own person, which is one of the reasons why he treats him so bad, is because Victor doesn't like himself either. And now he has a physical representation of what he believes is the worst part of himself, instead of seeing it as a actual, real, living being with its own thoughts and feelings that is completely detached from Victor himself. So the final frame is mirrored, and I thought it had to do with those conversations that they have where they are speaking in a mirror, and it's something along those lines. But then another movie enthusiast also pointed out that the creature, because it's harder to tell in that scene because the creature doesn't have hair yet. But in the scene where he escapes the tower and he is in the forest and wandering around, when he is looking at the human remains that he stumbles upon, that scene is mirrored as well. And I'm not sure about that one either. So I have these two great mysteries on the mirrored scenes that I am waiting for some sort of answer or some sort of other interviewer to notice so that they can ask Guillermo about it. Otherwise, he did say that there is going to be a physical release of the movie, and I know for sure there's going to be bonus features and deleted scenes and extra goodies on there because Guillermo seems to have a love for older film styles. The physical copies, the 35 millimeter, the actual practical effects and things like that. And I'm sure he wanted a theater release as well as a Netflix release so that the movie would be eligible for awards, but also so that people would be able to enjoy this movie in theaters, which I happened to get the chance to do about a week after I did this tattoo, I think. I drove over to Hollywood and I watched Frankenstein on 35 millimeter film at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, and it was so cool. It was such a fun movie experience. It was all a bunch of people. Some people dressed up like as characters. They were wearing like their own homemade Frankenstein merch. Everyone was so respectful. Nobody was talking. Nobody was on their phones during the movie. At the end, everybody clapped. At the beginning, the supervisor came out and it was free popcorn day, and he was like, "Oh, we also have posters. Pick up a poster on your way out." Unfortunately, they were gone by the time I got over there, but I would have loved to get a poster. Not to be too cynical or depressed or anything like that, but one of the biggest reasons that this movie spoke to me so much is because I have been struggling with my own self-worth as both an artist and as a human being lately. I've been struggling with a lot of things, and some of those things sort of blended towards like suicide ideation. And previous to watching this movie, I was in a really, really dark place. It was bad for a minute. But after watching this movie and understanding like the creatures, the way he articulates his own plight and how not only does he not want to live, but he doesn't have a choice, it really resonated with me in a way that nothing else could snap me out of it. I now have so much more reverence for life, and I feel like it is so much more fragile than I thought it was 6 months ago. I really feel that everything is so precious and intangible when it comes to life and death and possibilities and luck and fate. And I just want to I want to I want the creature to live. I want everyone to live. I want to live myself. So that's the moral of this tattoo. That's the moral of the story, in my opinion. It's also a story about forgiveness and love and acceptance. But yep, that's my take on the movie. I love it. Okay, so I just finished attempting to take photos. It's really hard to photograph a tattoo that's on my own leg. Anyway, so I did what I could. And now I have like this gel that I'm just waiting for it to dry. It's kind of like a Saniderm, but it's a gel instead of a plastic. Because I do have some problems with the Saniderm, and I'm gonna have my coworker take a photo of it for me tomorrow. But let me show you what it looks like right now. I'm really happy with it. I really didn't think I was gonna be able to finish it. So here it is. Yeah, it's really awkward for me to it's so awkward for me to try to photograph it. But yeah, it's now like almost 6 o'clock. I tattooed for 3.5 hours total, which is pretty good considering how big this is and how much black it is. And I ran my machine at 5.5 and then 6.5, so that's considered pretty slow. So I'm happy with it. I love it. It didn't hurt as much as I thought it was going to, which is awesome. So maybe I won't use numbing cream at all anymore unless it's like the knee ditch area or armpit, something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna clean up and I'm gonna grab some pizza and go home. And then I'll come back tomorrow for work. Because I do have, today's a Thursday, like I said, it's the first of the year. The whole reason that I wanted to do this on the 1st was because then I'm not using one of my other days off. So it's like a bonus day off, but I still go to work and get something out of it. So it made sense in my head. But thank you so much. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. That was the tattoo. That was my day. I'll see you next time.